Startup Podcast PH is co-produced by One CFO, Credit Hero, Y Spaces, Tuala, Simp, Sekuna, Schooltech Bedfolio, and Red Circle Global. Check out our partners in the description.
Welcome to Startup Podcast PH, inspiring more Filipino entrepreneurs and innovators. We have Digital Workforce Group, a 100% Filipino-owned global talent and business solutions company founded in 2020. And we have the CEO, Miss Faith Natividad. Hello, Faith. Miss Faith, kamusta?
Hi. Good evening, Johnny. I'm good. I'm doing good.
Ayun, actually, I got acquainted with you through Mami MK, shoutouts. And then, that was actually during the Digital Agency Owner Summit na event, ano. And actually, this podcast kasi we interview founders and actually we showcase stories of Filipinos who started a business and who kumbaga was able to grow that, ano. And actually sa ecosystem ng Pilipinas, malaki ang pini-play na role dito ng mga ng mga digital agencies like this, no? So I hope we get more of like the story paano nagsimula, paano nag-grow, and I think maraming mai-inspire na mga Pilipino with what you did and how you did it. So sige, Miss Faith, I think I'll start with a question. Ano nga ba ang Digital Workforce Group?
Yeah. Well, basically, Digital Workforce Group, what we do, we are a talent solutions company based in the Philippines. So as mentioned, we started during the height of the pandemic, and what we provide recruitment services, remote staffing, and corporate trainings for our clients across 6 continents.
Across 6 continents. Ano yung wala? Antarctica.
Wala pang Antarctica.
But anyway, actually, nung pandemic, ang daming kumbaga, nag-boom rin talaga yung potential, I think, na Philippines as, virtual, hindi nga workers, pero virtual talents, we really have this talent, and we can actually do most of the work na pwedeng gawin, across different borders. Sige,
Yeah.
simulan natin dun, ano exactly yung work na ito? Ano exactly yung talent, kumbaga, na meron ng mga Pilipino that we are providing other countries, and kumbaga maybe si Digital Workforce Group, ano yung parang what sets you apart?
Okay. Well, we are a knowledge process outsourcing company. So, wala kami masyadong roles into the call center, virtual assistants, but mostly our roles are actually engineers, architects. We also have developers and accountants, just to name a few. What sets us apart, I guess, 100% Filipino-owned until this day. And the beauty with the owners, we've been in the industry for myself for 18 years, my partner for 20 years. And from call center agents to CEO, I think yun yung pinaka magandang way or relatable sa mga listeners natin. I want to highlight that one because it doesn't mean that you are an employee for such a long time is magiging stuck ka na lang being an employee. So, I saw an opportunity during the pandemic instead of a challenge. So, yan, fast forward today, we were able to close almost 900 jobs.
Wow.
Yes, and we're catering to 100% businesses abroad.
Wow. So before Digital Workforce Group in 2020, you were a call center agent, and then bigla mo lang na-decide. How did you make that decision?
Okay. When this was back in 2007 or 2008, when I was 80 years old, my first job, even if I was working or I was studying full-time in Mapua, Makati, I was a call center agent for Sykes Asia. And then, nakita ko na there's an opportunity, but as you know, during that time, pag call center ka, natatag ka as call center ka lang. So, nakita ko yan as a challenge. Doon nahirapan ako because, syempre, very competitive for you to be promoted. So, from team leader to an account manager to an operations manager, I was able to work my way up. And, and then I realized, I am so tired working for someone else. I feel like my personality is really to build something for the community. So, I took the risk after how many failures, and true enough, binigay ni Lord. It's a purpose-driven business because really our goal is to provide talents in the Philippines, global opportunities.
Still filling out loan applications for your business?
Yeah.
Thought so.
Save your time. Grow your business. With Credit Hero, one online application gets you loan offers from multiple lenders. Apply for a business loan now. Visit credithero.com.
I want to ask more about the business
Yes,
pero
sir.
another question lang din. Hindi ka ba natakot when you did that jump? Kasi it's a risk and I'm not sure kung may enough savings ka ba or something. I mean, let's talk practical monetary
Mm.
na pwedeng malugi or pwedeng hindi maging successful yung business eh. So during that time, ano yung nasa utak mo nun?
Actually, before pa kami mag-start, lugi na kami. So, back in late 2019, I was affiliated with another company. And then, I was working as a business development manager. And my task was to do merger and acquisition. So, I used to do B2B sales. Hanggang sa sobrang competitive kasi alam mo naman, no, pag sales dito sa Pilipinas. And hindi mo maiwasan, crab mentality. And I just found myself na na-mild stroke ako sa workplace. And nung na-mild stroke ako, the next day, instead of getting empathy, I was served a redundation paper by our HR back then. So, it was really tough because that time I also had a precancerous condition and I didn't have any savings at all. But I was lucky enough because I asked my parents if we can sell our ancestral house back in Pampanga, and kahit buhay pa sila, pumayag sila, and I was able to get my share. But syempre we lost our ancestral house, so I bought a new house, and dun sa proceeds ang ginawa ko, finally paid ko yon, tas pinasok ko sa Pag-ibig. Tas binay out ko yung mga kapatid ko and binigyan ko rin ng portion yung parents ko. So when I was able to get my first housing loan in Pag-ibig, nagka-money ako. So I was able to use it and put up our first call center business in Balibago, Angeles City, January of 2020. So it was a 30-seater office with a partner. Pero two things happened. Number one, wrong yung partner. Hindi kami match. Kasi parang hindi pinag-isipan. Parang, oh yeah, let's put up a call center and then that's it. Wala kaming strategy, walang blueprint, walang business plan. And then, 2 months in pa lang kami, March 15 came. March 15 is the worst day of most people kasi nag-declare na ng lockdown. And after that one, yung pinuhunan namin na almost 3 million pesos, wala, gone. So ang natira na lang is yung whiteboard na binili ko. So inuwi ko yun sa bahay. It's a big whiteboard. Inuwi ko yun sa bahay, and then fast forward mga May, wala kaming work. Wala kaming work, and then just like everyone else, we felt lost, kami ng partner ko. So sabi ko, since we are so broke, number one. Number two, wala kaming opportunities talaga. So I thought, use this one as a fuel to build something. So ang ginawa ko, nanood ako ng Shark Tank, Final Pitch, Dragon's Den, 2 weeks. Tapos that time, wala kaming laptop. Ang nakakatawa dyan, pati yung laptop namin mag-partner, sinangla na namin yun. Kasi nga sobrang hirap ng buhay. So, ang natitira na lang is yung desktop namin. Tapos yung desktop na yon, alam mo yung lumang-luma na siya. And then, gumawa ko ng business plan, blueprint, pitch deck, and then I pitched to 100 founders, CEOs in LinkedIn. I got 99 no's. Nang dire-diretso. And then, syempre, I was losing my sanity back then. But yung pang 100 person na pinitchan ko, said yes. So, nung meron nang nag-yes sa akin, may client na gusto mag-outsource through, ang pangalan pa namin nun is digital offshoring. So, when this person said yes, he's from the US, nag-outsource siya una ng mga SEO, digital marketing specialist. Kumuha na ako ng CFO ko. And then, yung dati kong client sa consultancy, he said yes, and the rest was history.
Oh. Oh, super interesting Pero I'm very curious at that lead generation part yung how
Yeah.
you get that 100. Paano mo kinuha yung 100 na yun na yung initial clients na tinarget mo?
Okay. So, I learned this when I was doing business development. Siyempre, wala akong CRM. Pangalawa, wala naman akong brand para paniwalaan ako, di ba? But, dinaan ko siya sa storytelling. So, I made sure na sa LinkedIn, I talk about my authenticity without sharing too much information. And you know what? Kahit walang nagla-like or nagfa-follow sa'yo, babalikan nila yung LinkedIn profile mo, titingnan nila if you really are an authentic person or a real person. And I was lucky enough because ang ginawa kong strategy noon, naghanap ako ng mga job descriptions sa mga job boards or mga vacancies. Inisa-isa ko yun, in-scrape ko yun. At that time, wala namang AI, tas wala naman akong subscription to sa kahit anong job portal, right? So, yun, hanggang sa nakakuha ko ng mga list of CEOs, and then I even went to a Crunchbase. So, sa Crunchbase, nakikita ko lahat ng mga bagong newly funded na companies. So, I reach out. Yeah, di ba? Diskarte talaga eh. Mano-mano, tinignan ko kung sino yung mga, sino yung mga CEO, and then I pitched to them. Dati walang automated cadence. Mano-mano lahat yon. But one thing that I learned, normally, decision makers would come back to you on the 5th or 6th time na nag-follow up ka.
So talagang makulit? Tama ba?
Number 1, makulit. Number 2, I don't have any backup. So, wala akong option to make this work. And
Desperation makes.
yeah, and the beauty with my situation back then, I was so low that there's no way but to go up.
No way to go but up. Pero actually, this is actually an inspiration. And
Thank
actually, that was a
you.
very smart move. Well, I think iba na, ngayon 2026, medyo iba yung Pero back then, I think, I'm not sure pero I think meron din yung factor yung timing kasi sakto pandemic. So, first of all, inspiration talaga to kasi grabe, no? From that story sa previous work na sakit, so talagang medyo nawalan ng motivation doon. Tapos, naghanap ng way para magka-capital, pero nalugi agad. And then,
Wala pa man 2 months, lugi na agad.
and then, walang-wala. So, kailangan talaga humanap ng needle on a haystack or talaga solution.
Yeah.
Fortunately, naging successful, So, and pangalawa, I think somehow na-drive ka to make that smart move na sino ba talaga yung pwedeng maging client. Very tama yung approach na yung may pera or basically yung nakapag-fundraise recently. So I think maganda din yun na nalapitan yung nasa Crunchbase kasi nakalagay nga dun kung sino yung mga nakakuha ng funding recently,
That's right.
And then third, I think may factor in timing na during the pandemic, nag-start din, correct me if I'm wrong nag-start din somehow yung thought ng mga abroad, I think even before pa, pero mas dumami ng pandemic na pwede nga naman mag-outsource offshore or mag-outsource sa Pilipinas kasi good talent, good work, cost-effective. So,
That's right.
what do you think sa factor ng timing din, kumbaga?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, perfect timing din talaga, Now, sige, just to clarify sa ating mga listeners, kasi I think even now, madami yung mga nagbabalak gumawa mag-start din ng ganito, or maybe they just join you, pero, ano exactly yung what were you pitching dong sa first client? Tsaka, how different is it to the parang pinaka-pina-provide nyo now na, as you said, engineers, developers. Kumbaga, noong 2020 ba, maybe baka nung dati kino-commit nyo pa lang, we can provide call center or something like that. But now, talagang talagang skilled workforce So, ano yung transition nung parang pina-provide na service ni Digital Workforce 2020 until now?
Yeah, actually today it's very different. Before, when I was doing the pitch, it was all about the Filipino talents who can do the digital marketing. Kasi nung time na yon, 2020, it was all about digital transformation. Parang it's a new concept pa lang siya dati, yung SEO, mga social media marketing, and then ang ginawa kong strategy, hindi ko nirelate yung brand namin into the freelance sector. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong about being freelancers, but I wanted to show to our clients and to our potential partners na Digital Workforce is someone that it's not an agency, but it's like we are the bridge between the talents and the clients. So we don't just help them hire the talent, but we're very much involved in terms of the project management, the retention. Kaya we're very big in the engagement. So just imagine when we started, remote lahat. I'm based in Luzon, but our employees are based in Visayas, Mindanao, far Luzon. And it was only back in 2023 na nagkaroon kami ng demand from the client na magkaroon ng on-site. So, nung nagkaroon ng on-site, gusto na nila ng on-site kasi nagta-transition na. So, hindi kami ready doon dahil the business was really designed for remote work. But we have to keep up with the competition, I would say. So, kahit wala kaming masyadong capital, talagang sinugal namin, kumuha kami ng 20 square meters na office. Hanggang ngayon, 3 buildings or 3 floors na yung office namin. 40% of our employees are doing remote work, but 60% are on-site. So, the rest, dahil recruitment services ang ino-offer namin, piniplace namin sila sa mga clients. So, hindi sila in-house amin.
Wait, itong office, ito yung nasa Balibago? Tama.
No, bago na.
Bago
So,
na.
yes, but it's still here in Metro Clark.
Wow! Sige, next time bisita ako diyan and diyan tayo
Yay!
part 2 tayo. But
Oo, pwede tayo podcast sa office.
oo. Sige, pero, question lang din ulit dun sa ano 'no, yung so actually parang hindi actually hindi siya freelancers or virtual assistantship 'no, but really bridging the talent. So ang setup mo nito is they hire or, um, parang the company tells you, "Miss Faith, we need this," let's say kunwari 3 developers, 1 product manager, something. Then ikaw or sa digital workforce bubuo ng team sa Pilipinas and then parang ina-outsource nila yung project or yung team na yun dito sa Pilipinas. Is that how it works ba?
Actually, the business model na ginawa ko, dalawa. So, I always ask them the first question, do you need the talent? Why do you need the talent? What sort of engagement? Gusto mo ba ng full-time dedicated or gusto mo ng freelancer type of engagement? Kasi I can help you on the recruitment side. So, technically, walang natatapon sa mga kinakausap namin.
Both,
And right now, I would say 35% in-house sila, meaning full-time dedicated sila, legally employed sila sa company namin.
legally employed sa abroad, I mean
Sa amin.
company
namin.
Okay.
Yes. And then the rest, 60%, I would say, sila yung mga contractors na naha-hire through our client.
So you hire. Kayo
Yes.
mismo you hire.
Kami mismo talaga. So, hindi lang kami naghahanap or ino-offer yung talent. Like, talagang it's a commitment. Kasi even the talent development, learning and development, pinasok ko din yun.
So, when you hire, is it 1:1 project
Yes.
lang?
Full-time dedicated, hindi siya shared resource.
Ah.
Medyo ayoko yung model na yon kasi number 1, yung quality ng work nagbabago. So, ayaw natin ng ganon. Tapos, pangalawa naman is, kapag naman project-based, there's no sustainability. And I was really after the sustainability. And you know what, Johnny? It's our 6th year this coming July. 90% of our clients, we haven't met them in person. Lahat ay virtual. 10% na-meet namin sa Australia, New Zealand, ganyan.
Pupunta dito or punta kayo
US.
dito?
Kami napupunta doon. Or minsan they go here. Yeah, but yun yung pinaka, I think, fun part din sa journey ng entrepreneurship na to.
Tsaka yeah. Super interesting medyo iba siya actually, iba siya. And I think
Yes.
paano yung ganitong model na this is what works actually Iba to the point na yun nga, hindi project-based. For me, out of the many that I've talked to, I think isa to sa mga may ganong unique na So, maybe ang question din is, first of all, do you think nga baka unique din yun for the company? And second, parang lang, why not talaga yung project-based? I mean, do you think mag-iiba ba talaga yung service na provide ninyo if you go that way?
Yes, because if let's say project-based, hindi siya long-term Sa amin ang contract ng clients, minimum 12 months. And sa awa naman ng Diyos, most of them are still with us on their 5th year. So, it only goes to show na there's loyalty, plus they see value because they don't just deal with a recruiter, but they deal with a managed service provider. The only difference now is, nag-iba na yung roles. Like, to December of 2024, we lost 80 employees. Nawala lahat ng mga SEO, digital marketing, mga WordPress developer because napalitan ng AI. So, yun yung naging challenge namin. Na I'm happy we had to go through that kasi we were able to pivot recently. And from a talent solutions company ngayon, nadagdagan tuloy kami. We are an AI-powered company. So, we do AI and automation consultancy, not just for international clients, but even in the local setting na. So, that kind of experience, us losing almost 38 million pesos because of the 80 employees that were redundated, it opened another door of opportunity. And naging personal advocacy ko siya na parang ako nga na medyo up-to-date na sa innovation, natamaan pa ako ng AI. What more pa yung mga startup entrepreneurs na tinaya nila life savings nila, or just like me, minortgage nila yung bahay nila just to make sure they will be able to make their business successful. So, naging advocacy ko to teach AI literacy since November of last year.
Tsaka ang galing 'no na parang you're really nata-turn mo yung conflict or yung problem into an opportunity. 2 times na 'to dito sa kuwento na 'to, baka may third time.
Yes. Wala na, sana wag na muna kasi para medyo ma-enjoy ko muna yung yung
Stressful ba?
season ngayon.
I mean, stressful ba yung process na yun, yung gano'n?
It is very stressful because number one, we don't have any backup. Kami ang
Yeah.
backup ng lahat, ng empleyado, ng mga pamilya namin. So, failing is not even an option because for me, failure will only happen when you stop trying. So, ako, tingin ko yun yung naging parang secret sauce ng business namin and ng journey ko as an entrepreneur. Na, people will always have something to say about your model, your business. You will lose a lot of close people in your life. But what really matters is that you have clarity of what you really want to do. And you do business not because of profit, but it's also because a deeper purpose-driven advocacy.
At saka yung fact na yung parang you don't listen to you or you don't listen to them and medyo iba yung ginagawa niyo. That's actually what drove you to have this medyo unique model, eh. Na ako nga 'pag naisip ko parang imagine Faith, I've interviewed 300 plus or 400 na nga na startups and marami din dito yung parang medyo like this. Pero ang pinaka-difference nito is number 1, parang siyang gitna ng recruitment or yung
Yes.
parang talent finding tsaka
Outsourcing.
outsourcing. Gitna
Yeah.
siya, eh. Parang kayo proxy recruitment, eh. Parang somehow
Yes.
proxy recruitment arm ng companies abroad sa Pilipinas. And then, and the talent, you employ that, but they work for So, very unique actually. Just to be clear lang ano klase mga talents ulit 'to? I mean, and now, ano yung mga parang now ba more of IT din, mga IT or mga tech talaga? Parang talagang nawala ba yung karamihan talaga ng marketing, talagang ito na yung skill na meron ngayon? Kasi I think this is also an indicator or parang this can tell what the job market is really looking for now, eh.
Yeah. Actually, right now, nagbago na yung mga roles na meron kami. Before, yun nga, maraming marketing, administrative, a little bit of accounting. But ngayon, mas dominated kami ng mga engineering, like mga BIM modelers, mga drafters,
So
AutoCAD,
construction. I mean,
construction-related.
civil engineering like,
Yeah, structural, ganon. And then we also have
wait,
accounting.
na na pala yun? Nare-remote na pala yun? 'Di ba dapat parang ka, parang on-site?
Yun nga yung maganda kasi nagbago na yung landscape ng natin, ng workforce ngayon or ng demand. Another industry na sobrang in demand din talaga ngayon sa amin is the accounting and finance. Yan hindi natatanggal. I mean, even if medyo may AI portion na kayang gawin na, still, a lot of businesses would require to outsource meron nga kami CFO for another company sa US. Ang ngayon, future of work, as per the World Economic Forum, 7% of the jobs today talagang mapapalitan ng AI and automation. So, there's the 33% na natitira na it's either they will adapt AI into their work or sila yung next na medyo matatamaan. It's really sad. Kasi lalo na ngayon sa mga Pilipino, there's a big resistance sa AI and automation. But we are in the market where it's the same era nung na-discover yung electricity na, this is something new or, alam mo yun? So, wala, you have to stay true to your mission and for me, it's challenging but at the same time, exciting times of our lives.
First of all, surprising pa rin for me yung parang construction, civil engineering side yung
Yeah, there is.
Kasi pero actually to be fair, minsan nag-search ako sa mga online mga jobs abroad Yun yung karamihan, eh, yung may mga Middle East din ba kayo or
Yeah.
Melon.
Actually, yun yung nag-start kami sa Middle East and then meron na rin kami Asia Pacific. We also have South Africa.
Walaan ko yung may Papua New Guinea ba or ano? Kasi
Wala kami
wala.
Papua New
Baka
Guinea.
nag-o-onsite yung mga dun, nag-o-onsite. May nagulat ako madaming Pilipino nag-o-onsite dun eh. For
Yes.
baka papunta pa lang sila sa madi-discover nila yung pwede pala i-offshore yun. Pero
Oo
actually,
nga.
for me, ano yun, discovery yun. Value creation or value discovery yun na
Yes.
hindi palang i-remote itong mga construction or
Yeah.
architecture or civil engineering na projects. And I think ang malaking takeaway dito, and I think advice din for startup founders, talaga Faith ang galing nung parang you didn't build a business because you want to or because you want to force a solution. You build a business na magso-solve ng problem, in this case, kakulangan ng talent, ng cost-effective talent ng companies abroad. Pinunan yun ng company through Filipino talent and through that system na pwede siya mag-work remote, and even yung proxy recruitment nga. And nag-work siya. That's how you grew, 'di ba? So parang you're really providing value and you're really answering the demand or really solving the problem ng companies, clients niyo. Tama?
Yeah, absolutely. Kaya ano talaga tingin ko blessing in disguise yung mga nangyari in the past. Yun nga lahat naman tayo will go through adversities, but at the end of the day, we just need to be creatively resourceful on how to make the most out of it.
How big na nga ngayon ang company?
In terms of number of employees?
Sige,
Yeah, we're close to 100 right now internally. Yes.
Wow.
So, yung mga total 900 jobs, yun yung mga na-employ na namin before, and then place sila for clients directly. And combination na rin din mga internal namin.
Oo nga no. So parang meron pa nga yung ang dami rin pala nun yung parang direct na sa
Yes.
company.
Yeah, pero malaki yung nalagas sa amin kasi back in 2024, we're almost 200 na. But we had to let go of the 80 employees. Medyo masakit talaga yun. Kaya last year, it was a year of rebuilding. It was a year of pivoting. Pero yun nga, it brought a lot of opportunities along the way.
Pero ang galing. Gusto ko malakpak, to be honest. Ang galing.
Thank you.
Trust the digital future with Twala. Secure and tamper-proof digital signature. Electronic notarization service. And custom AI agents for intelligent document workflows. Visit twala.io to learn more. In today's digital world, your organization needs more than just technology. It needs a strategic partner. At Symph, we build web and mobile apps that drive innovation for startups, enterprises, and organizations worldwide. Visit symph.co today.
Protect your assets from bugs before bad hackers exploit them. And launch your products seamlessly with Sukuna, your trusted partner in cybersecurity. Receive reports in real time and work with security experts to find bugs in your products before others do. Let's make your security our priority.
Now, how do you do this? It's amazing, to be honest. I mean, ako, first of all, bilib na bilib mo sa mga startup founders na nakakaabot ng 100 employees. Iba yun eh. I think ang boundary nga nasa 30 to 40. Pag dun, iba yun eh. Kasi yun yung talaga scale eh. So you're the CEO, no? How hard it is? Or parang, how do you do that? Can you, hindi madali siya maturo or kumbaga ma-share yung knowledge, pero what can you share to our listeners, aspiring founders na gusto mag-grow into 100 people company or something?
Alam mo, honestly, first 4 years of the business, my only concern as a CEO was to make sure sumasweldo lahat ng empleyado namin on time. Yun lang ang concern ko. Para akong firefighter, but I have 2 other partners. So, I have a CEO and a CFO. It's just that majority of the business talaga, I'm the one running it. And as a female CEO, sobrang hirap talaga niya. Kasi magkaiba kami ng generation. Like yung I'm a millennial CEO. Yung CFO namin is Gen X. Yung yung COO ko din is Gen X. So, if you could just imagine, lagi kaming may clash. Kasi iba-iba kami ng culture, pinanggalingan.
May Gen Z pa.
Oo, tas ang employees namin, mostly are Gen Z and millennials. But you know what? One thing that I think, one of the reasons why we made it this far Ang layo pa namin, to be honest with you, with our goal, no? But one thing that, one of the reasons why we made it this far, we are very intentional with what we do. For us, yes, this is a business. Yes, we need to make money. But a lot of times, we have to put our people first. And it's easy to, alam mo yon, it's easy to put yourself first kasi ikaw ang may-ari. But at the end of the day, when you have this intention to really help and create a change to the community, you'd be surprised that the universe will conspire to really help you. Ako kasi naniniwala ako sa bawat isang trabaho na bibigay namin, whether sa intern man yan, sa contractor, or sa regular na empleyado, it's like we're helping a family. Kasi breadwinners ang mga yan. So, firm believer ako ng work-life integration din. Meaning, we have crazy things going on. We have soul-searching leave, mental health leave. Pangarap ko lagi na pag mag-a-abroad ang mga empleyado namin, gusto ko may experience nila yon first sa amin. Hindi. So, yung mga little things like that, like we send them abroad kung kaya naman. Madaming pakulo, to be honest. But at the end of the day, people will stay not just because of salary, but how you treated them. And you don't treat them as a number. And same way, they will take care of the business. But it's normal that you will encounter employees and people who will really get the best out from you. Kahit, let's say, sa 10 or sa 8 ginawa mong tama, 2 yung mali doon, ang magre-retain lang sa kanila is 2. But if you have clear intentions, and ako, I believe in good and bad karma kasi, yun yung makakapag-last sa'yo sa business. Don't let any adversities dictate your future, but use it to improve and be a better version.
Wow. Miss Universe answer. Do you have a structure? I'm just curious. I think may baka business secret ito, no? So okay lang totally na wag sagutin. Pero
Yeah.
for 100 company, tataka pa rin ako kasi as I notice, yung mga startups na lumalaki up to 30, kasi nahihirapan mag-more pa kasi nagiging problem na yung structure, yung reporting
Yes.
structure, or yung work team structure. I think nga kaya nahihirapan yung mag-more than 30 kasi 30 kaya pa flat parang talagang medyo
Yes.
naka-report sa C-suite Okay lang wag sagutin pero maybe can you
Yeah.
share some secrets or tips dun sa pag-structure ng company na kasing laki ng 100?
Okay. Ako, very simple lang yung sa akin. RPS, I use the RPS framework that I created. So the business should be repeatable. Meaning kahit wala ako, something siya na maduduplicate ng tao namin. Pangalawa, it should be, syempre, profitable. First 30 and 40, break even ka pa lang yan. Actually, abonado ka pa. Ang talaga medyo may income talaga dyan. Sa model namin is about 50 and up. And then, the last one is it should be sustainable. When I say sustainable, the business shouldn't be like a seasonal thing or a fad. Like there's a real clear solution that you're trying to offer to solve a real world problem. So hindi siya shallow because again, when you talk to ako on target market ko CEOs on the startup and medium-sized companies abroad, when you talk to them, isa lang naman ang concern nila tao. They don't have the right talent to execute what they want. And maaalamin mo talaga what keeps them up at night. So pag na-solve mo yon, it's not even a problem if they will do business with you next time. So that's the RPS model. Pangalawa for me, Johnny, very important talaga na yung business mo, hindi siya something na lang. Hindi mo siya ginagawa dahil gusto mo lang siya. Pero yung business talaga, dapat meron siyang positioning na deeper reason, deeper purpose why you're doing it. And after ng digital workforce, lahat ng mga business na binuo ko, ecosystem na siya. So, I have 8 other businesses. And
wow.
syempre, hindi lahat doon successful. Like yung iba, nasa baby steps pa lang. Yung iba naman, we're losing money. Yung iba naman, doing well. But what really resonated with me is lahat ng gagawin ko magkaka-connect sa bawat isa. So let's say we have a construction firm. Nung nagkaroon na ng malaking demand, nakikita ko laki ng expenses namin sa hardware. So we put up our own hardware last year. Tapos sa office, lagi kami nag-hire ng coffee cart or kasi we provide free lunch and free snacks. So instead na kukuha kami sa iba, nagtayo kami ng coffee shop business. Yung little things like that na for me, importante talaga yon.
Grabe, imbes na bumili sa ibang business, gumawa na lang ng sariling business.
Oo, ganun na lang.
Grabe, grabe, grabe. I'm amazed. Pero ang ganda rin ng RPS 'no, tsaka dali natandaan, repeatable, profitable,
Profitable and
sustainable,
sustainable. Yes.
tsaka deeper purpose. Yan ang ating mga takeaway. Now, gusto ko lang balikan ng onti, Miss Faith
Sure.
ano, when you were young, parang stories 'to, medyo background stories.
Yeah.
When you were younger, did you see yourself being like this? Kasi amazed ako sa mga, I'm not sure, baka depende sa story mo, pero, parang minsan nakikita ko yung mga taong may ambition or talagang naka-set into stone na ito yung gusto nilang mangyari. So, ganun din ba in your case na, when you were younger, well, nag-call center ka for maybe for the while lang 'no, pero eventually talagang gusto mo gawin ito. May ganun bang, backstory?
Okay. When I was young, ang pinaka-vivid lang sa memory ko talaga is kausap ko yung sarili ko sa mirror ta's may hawak akong mic. Parang nagpo-public speaking.
Podcaster or
Yeah, and then alam mo fast forward today, it's the same thing that I'm doing right now. 'Cause
deja vu.
oo, na-deja vu ako. And then, dahil na-challenge ako in this society, lalo na sa Philippines, siguro sobrang dami makaka-relate nito. They will always ask about your last name. Oh, you're from what family again? So ako, wala akong ganon. I don't have rich parents. I'm rich in love, but alam mo yon, ako ang first entrepreneur sa generation ng pamilya namin. So it was really hard. I don't have any mentors. Kaya nga sabi ko sa'yo, nung first 4 years, Johnny, I was just after the payroll. I'm not after the dividends. I'm not after the growth. Gusto ko lang ng steady. But last year, I was really lucky enough to meet mentors, real life mentors in my life. So I met Coach Ross Yuson, I met Real Talk Darbs, I met Coach Max Salazar. And these 3 people, binigyan nila ako ng ibang perspective na you already have this power to influence. But no matter how hard you work, if you don't put self-care as your priority, you will always end up losing yourself. No matter how hard you try to grow the company, you will always end up failing. And that clarity resonated with me because before I work 18 hours a day and I don't have time. Like, feeling ko, badge of honor ang busy ako. But in reality, it was only this year, Feb, when I learned about self-care. Self-care is prioritizing your mental health. Self-care is taking care of your time. Getting 8 hours sleep was a dream for me before. But when I started doing meditation and I learned about so many things, I started to work smarter. And right now, siguro, safe to say, I work 4 to 6 hours a day. And then the rest, I spend time with my old age parents, with my pet. I do passion projects. And that's my way of coping. And siguro kayo ngayon, mas klaro ako kung anong gusto ko and mas happy ako. So, yun yung mabibigay ko na siguro tip sa mga listeners natin.
Oo, tsaka ano rin 'no, parang from hard worker to smart worker.
Yes.
Talagang may gano'ng transition. So when you started, nakuwento mo kanina 'no na, may failure ganyan. Sa tingin mo, what really was the point of success or parang baka may parang tipping point or parang may something na nag-lead to you into success? Baka nga may light bulb moment or parang may reflection. What do you think was that if meron man?
Ang ganda ng question na yun. Kasi recent ko lang yun na dati kala ko ang measurement ng success is money. O kaya yung mga assets, ganyan. But I realized all these things, mawawala yan. But when I learn about if God remove all these things to me today or tomorrow, aling mafe-feel ko? And when I already have a clear answer, doon ko nasabi na naiintindihan ko na what real success means. And for me, it is having the confidence to build and rebuild over and over again without losing your sanity. Because you already have the confidence that I can run this, I can do better, and I will never be obsessed with material things or obsessed with money just because I have this title. Kasi I'm not religious at all It's just that may clarity ako dun sa relationship ko kay God na pinagkatiwalaan niya ako with this opportunity. And my job is to make sure na i-share ko lahat ng binibigay niya sa akin, whether knowledge, opportunity, or profits. So, for me, yun yung, dun ko nasabi na, successful na ako kasi alam kong maging contented and at the same time, competitive pa rin naman ako.
Saka medyo nag-goosebumps ako actually when you said that answer. Kasi recently din, meron akong ako na mag-share ko if
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
yung tungkol sa kayamanan, parang na-realize ko kasi medyo may war ngayon, 'di ba? I mean, in these times. Pwede kayo yumaman Pero in case ko maggera, wala lahat ng material wealth na 'yan. Pero kaya naisip ko, ang tunay na kayamanan ay mawala man lahat, you have that knowledge and that skill and that confidence na mawala man yung current pera mo ngayon, trabaho mo ngayon, or let's say negosyo mo ngayon. I mean, wag naman pero kung maggera man kaya wag naman, 'di ba? Pero true wealth kasi kayang-kaya mo tumayo ulit Kayang hindi ka masisira, hindi ka mababaliw, hindi ka magsusuko actually, no? Kaya mong bumalik. So, and I think yun ang tunay na kayamanan. Kaya nga parang experience siya, experience, confidence, tsaka of course, syempre yung know-how, business know-how din. What do you think about that?
Yeah. And you've mentioned about experience. One thing na sigurong magandang pwede kong takeaway, no? As an adult, it's easy to say na, lalo as a leader, alam ko na yan, kaya kong panoorin yan sa YouTube or basa lang akong ganito. Alam ko na yan. Meron certain level ng ere na pag naka-reach ka na ng pag naging CEO ka na or you started earning 8 digits, diba? Pero for me, and until this day, sobrang uhaw na uhaw ako to learn new things. Like, nag-aaral pa din ako, and the hardest part of being an adult is to unlearn and relearn. So, the way I do business before, the way I run the company, the way I treat people is very different the way I do it now. And I need to be resilient and adaptive. Kasi kung overconfident lang ako, ay, okay lang to. Makakasurvive naman kami. We're getting by and that's fine. Yun pala, dinadaya ko yung sarili ko. And excellence should always be on top of everyone's mind without losing yourself. Kasi maraming tao nagiging successful by stepping on other people's toes. But for me, real success really comes when everyone around you wins. And the goal is, halimbawa nasa team kami, no, yung internal team namin, they don't know who the CEO is because they are so competent and they're so strong na kaya nilang dalhin yung sarili nila na kahit saan. So, for me, success is creating a duplicate of yourself and being a better version all the time.
Speaking of that, yung learning and relearning. You mentioned din kanina kasi na when you first started the business, talagang gumawa ka ng business plan or parang blueprint. Pero ang tanong ko ngayon is how important is flexibility? Ako kasi personally nahihirapan ako Pag gagawa akong plano, gusto ko matutupad yun hanggang huli, Pero of course, I admit and I know na may value talaga yung pivoting, changing So maybe in our experience, kung makapagbigay ka nga ng weight like ilang percent dapat yung sticking to the plan, ilang percent pivoting or parang improvisation, kumbaga, in business. What do you think about that?
Alam mo, naalala ko yung pinakaunang business plan ko. Ang pinaka-model ng digital workforce is to be an aggregator of all the small-size BPO companies. Tapos, yun yung marketplace ng mga BPO. And then, yun yung una. Tapos, parang I get 10% of each percentage as an affiliate sa total contract price ng bawat successful hire. But you know what? It was so hard kasi supply and demand siya. Plus, why would they trust me? Though I did some consultancy work for other BPOs, pero ang hirap niyan to execute. So, nandun ka na. Nag-start na kami. So, wala talaga sa plan na magre-recruitment. Wala sa plan na mag-HR integrated services kami. Wala sa plan na mag-outsourcing. You would be surprised that 10% of what's written in the business plan, yun lang ang natupad. Then 90%, we had to tweak it along the way, and we just need to do our research. We need to do a lot of tae, the trial and error. And whenever I would talk to CEOs or business owners na same industry or kaiba, lagi kong babalikan yung story ni LG. 'Di ba si LG, well known siya ngayon because of electronics. They started as a skincare company. And parang, oo nga naman, 'di ba? Bakit ko ililimit yung sarili ko? So as long I stay true dun sa thought na I'm solving a problem and I know my ideal customer profile and demographics, that's gonna be enough.
Okay, that's a very good nugget of wisdom. And actually, parang point of thought din siya, for our leaders. And about that, no? So, you solve problems of companies abroad. As a Filipino company and as a 100% Filipino-owned company, I think now kasi meron na ring mga offshoring sa ibang bansa, mga nag-o-offer ng why do you think, Miss Universe question na naman
Oo nga.
why do you think, parang ano to Filipino pride din pero parang, ayun, why do you think these companies or these clients, your clients, avail yung Filipino talent or Filipino work? Considering na, I mean, ayun, pwedeng ibang bansa, and how do you put yourself out on the map? Parang gusto ko din tanungin, same pa rin ba yung ginagawa mo na nagko-cold call? Parang dati, yung first 100, parang medyo cold email yun So, ganun pa rin ba? Or sila na lumalapit? Parang yun yung gusto kong question. Ikaw po yung lumalapit or sila na ba yung lumalapit?
Well, I'll answer that question first. First 3 to 4 years, kami yung outbound talaga. Outbound. And then, hindi kami nag-ads. Never kami nag-ads, alam mo ba? Sa Google. Wala kaming ganon. Ang ginawa naming strategy, we go to abroad. We join exhibits. Like, nag-exhibit kami. Because there should be a face to the brand. If they don't see you, they will never remember you. So, ang haba lang ng sales cycle. Like, for us, swerte ka na kung 180 days, na-convert mo yan. Normally, the sales cycle talaga, 6 to 9 months. Swerte ka na for hot and warm leads. But for cold, minsan 2 years. So, ang ginawa ko, sinigurado ko na last year, top 40 Filipino founder ako sa LinkedIn. That's number 1. So, nagre-resonate. So, yung LinkedIn ko talagang binild up ko yung content. I talk about the real stories without, again, sharing too much information and too much strategy. But it's more of they see that we exist. Yun yung very important. So, I hope I was able to answer that. So, ngayon, mga dati, 70% outbound, 30% inbound. Sapilitan pa yun. Ngayon, I would say, na kami, 50-50. Dati we have like a big sales team. May mga business development managers kami, appointment setters. Talaga nag-burn kami ng almost 10M. Hiring sales team. Pero iba pa rin when it's really the owner or the developer or the architect of the brand who's doing the selling. Kasi until this day, I still do the closing for the sales. I train our people, our CEO still assist us sa discovery call, but pag founder-to-founder experience, it's different. And it's kinda hard kasi time-consuming, no? Pero for me, para na rin ako nagma-market research kasi nakikipagkwentuhan ako. I get to do my research paper na din. Di okay na. Ayun. And then, yung question naman about how can I put the name of the Philippines, no? Alam mo, naniniwala ako na dadating yung time magiging first world pa din. Part tayo ng first world. Oo naman. So, what sets us apart, whenever we meet clients or prospects abroad, they're always surprised. Oh, you're the owner? Because I thought Filipinos are just limited to being domestic helpers. Health assistants, nurses, or di naman kaya Filipinos are well known to be because of Pacquiao or Regine Velasquez. And ako lagi yung challenge sa akin. So, bakit pipiliin pa rin nilang Pinoy over Vietnamese, over Indians, and over other nationalities? Totoo naman, mas skillful sila. Mas up-to-date sila sa technology. mas mura sila sa pricing.
Hmm.
Yes. But what will set Filipinos apart, number one, is their communication skills.
Hmm.
That's number one, both verbal and non-verbal. And the attitude of malasakit. Pag nakipagtrabaho ang Pilipino, one way or another, they will treat your business. It's as if it's their business as well. Yun nga lang, ang downside, we have this yes mentality. Yes tayo ng yes, kaya di natin naiintindihan. But
Mhm.
I'd like us to be remembered to be people with malasakit. And if I'm a CEO, mas pipiliin ko ang tao may malasakit kaysa sa magaling. Kasi yung mas may malasakit, may moral compass yan kung gagawin niya ang tama or hindi when no one is watching. And when things are difficult, di ba? So, yeah.
Grabe, ang ganda. Galing. Grabe, grabe, grabe. Tsaka ano kaya ako nagadaan kasi hindi siya yung answer was hindi I mean, sa iba kasi interview minsan parang ano ba tawag dito? Yung parang paper, scripted, dito straightforward, pinpointed communication. I think kasama din English, no, English.
Yeah.
Well, verbal and non-verbal. Tsaka non-verbal actually, ang ganda nun. Totoo yun.
Yeah.
And I think yun. Second, malasakit. I think yun din talaga. I think even for kaya nga to be honest, no, kaya marami tayong mga nurse tsaka admittedly domestic helpers kasi
Compassion.
compassion, oo. Pero and now nagagawa natin yun even if remote
Yes.
Education is evolving, and so are we. Introducing School Tech by Edfolio, your all-in-one school management solution. Built for schools of all sizes, School Tech bridges the gap between school and learning management. Driven by passion, School Tech makes educational technology accessible, affordable, and easy to use for schools everywhere. With an integrated approach, School Tech simplifies management across different departments and enhances efficiency in operations. School Tech transforms the way schools manage, teach, and learn. School Tech, taking school management solutions to the next level.
Running a business? Make it smarter with Red Circle Global. Streamline operations, boost productivity, and manage everything in one powerful ERP system. Book your free business demo today at redcircleglobal.com, guided by one of our top experts.
Ayun, sige, last question na lang, Miss Faith, Thank you, pero
Yeah,
grabe
sure.
ang ganda ng ating I think
Thank
yung
you.
ito ang dami nang natututunan or nai-inspire. Ang last question dito usually lagi is two things. What's the most ano yung pinaka-successful na parang pinaka-milestone na pinaka-proud ang company? What's the biggest success? And second, or maybe unahin natin to. Yung parang greatest challenge na inyong na-overcome, at experience na overcome.
Okay. For me before, starting a business was really hard. Lalo yung pag wala kang brand equity, they don't know you, di ba? Kala ko yun yung pinakamahirap. Ang pinakamahirap pala was, for me, it was last year when AI and automation took over almost everything in the outsourcing business. We weren't prepared, but I would say it's one of the biggest blessing. Kasi kung hindi nangyari yon, hindi ako naging ganito ka gising, hindi ako naging ganito ka sigasig na mag-aral and find ways as quick as possible to turn the situation around for my advantage, for the company's advantage. Kasi ngayon, if I didn't discover AI, if hindi ko siya inadapt sa amin, siguro stuck up pa rin kami, naghahabol kami ng mga kliyenteng gusto mag-outsource. And right now, it's a different story. Right now, it's actually the clients going to us because they know that what I had to go through as a business owner is something that they're going through now. So, lagi ang tanong nila, ano ba yung kayang gawin ng AI para mabago yung sitwasyon namin? So, nag-start siya sa AI literacy hanggang sa, we can provide them the talent, we can do HR services. But right now, it's really the strategy, it's really the roadmap on how they can adapt their workforce because no one prepared. Walang nag-aral about this. It's not enough that you know how to use ChatGPT or what, no? But it's really putting things together and aligning them on how it can benefit the company without spending much. Yun yung masasabi kong talaga, milestone namin And losing 38 million, we're still paying for it, to be honest with you, no? I never knew that I would be in that situation. I never knew that it can make or break. Kasi we had the option to close down and, let's just stop this. We had that. We already had that. Kasi losing 80 and then paying for their redundancy is not a big joke because we're not prepared. But if not because of that situation, siguro naging stuck up kami being a small-time outsourcing company. Right now, I would say na yung na-achieve namin for the past 5 years is something that we can do in less than a year. So, amazing, exciting times. And if I could just only share my passion na ganito kaganda yung future, ganito ka, alam mo yon, ganito ka bright yung future if only you will open your eyes and you just really surrender to the fact that the changing times will not, it's not something that can be a disadvantage, but it is something that we can do as an advantage.
Ayun. So, actually parang yun yung challenge and yung milestone, ano, yung changing times, the disruption. Actually, it's an ever-changing technology that you must adapt to. And fortunately, I think milestone is naka-adapt naman, ano. Napansin ko lang yung mo pala dito, Miss Faith, ano, may bracket si AI, F, bracket AITH. Pero, I think next time na lang kasi mga 1 hour na tayo sa ating conversation.
Yeah.
I think part 2 tayo, I'll go sa inyong office next time, baka next week.
Yes.
Ever. Pero maybe mas ano rin natin. Maganda story nito yung parang how you adapted and pivoted in the AI, in these times of AI. So I think mas mag-ano rin tayo dyan, mas pag-usapan natin yan, ano.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yun. Thank you very much, Faith, na sa ating...
Thank you.
Ganda. Grabe, parang ang ganda na lahat ng answer eh. Ang kwento siya, pero ang ganda na lahat ng answer, daming lessons. So, thank you, Miss Faith. Ano lang, if our listeners want to know more about you, baka meron tayo na-inspire, gusto kong i-follow sa LinkedIn or about digital workforce, baka may nakikinig. Actually, may mga foreign companies minsan na nakikita nila sa title ng episode eh. They watch here. How can they connect with you? Baka malay mo, mabigyan ka din ng podcast ng client or something. So, how can they reach you, basically?
Yeah, thank you very much. So, if you're interested or curious about how we at Digital Workforce can actually bring value to your business, whether you're based abroad or in the Philippines, you can check us out sa Facebook. It's a Digital Workforce Group and also in LinkedIn. And then for our website, right now it's www.digitalconsult.ph. And I would also like to take this opportunity to promote my personal brand. It's called Faith Failing Forward Fast. And I also do content, not just about business, but also AI, but also my story on how I became a call center from a CEO. And you can check my videos sa Facebook. And I also have a community whereas I do mentoring, CEO mentoring for free. It's a business accelerator and a self-mastery program. All you need to do is go to FaithWorks in Facebook groups. So, yeah, yun lang.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Papandin pala natin yan sa ating part 2, ano. And i-plug ko lang din sa episode na to. Actually, ang Startup Advocates PH ay nasa front page na ng Spotify Technology and Business and Technology. Actually, top 4. So, nasa
Wow!
So, sana din madami makakinig sa episode na to.
Share natin yan.
Ayun. Thank you. Sige, ayun. So, thank you very much, Miss Faith. And keep in touch. Part 2 tayo next time. Thank you.
I will. Thank you very much, Johnny. Have a good one.
Thank you very much to our 65 patrons. This episode is super powered by AskLex PH Academy, our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma project management, data science, and more. Cloud CFO. Cloud CFO provides expert accounting, tax, and payroll services for SMEs and startups using smart technology to deliver actionable financial insights. Architect Space Solutions. Architect provides ground station services, space data analytics, and technology supplies to grow the Philippines' role in the global space ecosystem. DBCO Technologies Incorporated, IT solutions specializing in software development, blockchain, smart contracts, digital wallets, and cybersecurity. Argam AI, make smarter decisions by representing both sides of an issue as argued by two distinct AI models. Pixel by Implement, Turn content into opportunities, grow deeper connections, and earn more only with Pixel. Sign up at pixel.employment.co. School of Profits, Filipino-led community for aspiring freelancers, VAs, agency builders, and online earners, built to help you start, grow, and earn online together. Founders Launchpad, our ecosystem partner, early stage accelerator providing venture capital funding, operational support, and mentorship. Hire Business Solutions, provided the most configurable cloud-based payroll system in the Philippines. Agile Data Solutions, the Philippines' fastest-growing market insights tech company with its data gathering platform, HustlePH. Smile Checks, streamline hiring and onboarding with automated background checks. Cloverly, all-in-one digital platform for property developers. Body Beaties, accessible and personalized diabetes self-management application. Hyperstocks, digital banking enabler for rural and thrift banks. Wonder Brand, data science-driven brand strategy and design for emerging markets. This episode is powered by Josie AI, Uplift Code Camp, Board Prep, Kanzen Bordy, Eastpoint Business Outsourcing Services, Filipina Home-Based Moms, Hex Colony, Jure.ph, Big Giant Games, Patid PH, Sugbudok, Algacon Aquafeeds Juan Alj, Gray Wolf Technologies Philippines, Pareto Consulting, Sears MD. Support the podcast through the links in the description.